Hi there, this is Matt at State of Flux with Mike from Burn It Down and Leave podcast as a special guest. This is an interesting subject because I like talking with other creative types about movies they would like to see be made. And I used to work with Mike, and one of the things that I remember doing is, this was after Avengers Endgame. You and I would just talk about movies and sort of pitch ideas for movies, and we were hypothesizing what the next Spiderman movie should be after Far From Home, and we just spitballed the idea of Spider-Man Home Alone, and it was the plot of Home Alone where the Avenger folk left Avengers Tower to Spider-Man as the Sinister Six were trying to break in and steal Stark technology, and he was the only one left to defend it.
I forgot all about that. That's super funny.
I wanted to bring that up because you always had good ideas and would elaborate on the story to make them better, and I stand by that. Would be
a fun movie.
That would have been a great movie.
It'd be Home Alone, Die Hard, Spider-Man.
Yeah, it'd have been amazing.
Just the Kingpin trying to get in. Sitting there with a bowling ball.
That would have been such a good movie. And the way that No Way Home ended, you can't really tell that story. It's a sad one.
Yeah.
But
they don't
anyway,
even know where Spider-Man is now.
No, they don't know who
Spider who they said?
Ant-Man. I thought it'd be fun to do a couple of pitches for movies that we would like to see be made. So I asked him to come prepared with a pitch, and then I'm going to also give him some pitch ideas to see where we can spitball in the creative process and see if anything comes fun in this video.
Okay, so my pitch was more of like a short film.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I made it because you could make this.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll just read it.
Okay.
And it's called The Slide. Okay.
The Slide.
So a dad and his child are at the park one evening. They're the only two people there. Dad is sitting on the bench watching the kid play and go down the slide. And the slide is an enclosed slide, so you can't see the child when it goes into the tube. Okay? And after they go down the third time, after a few minutes, the dad's at the bottom of the stairs, and he says, "All right, it's time to go." And the kid grabs the dad's hand, and they walk off frame, okay? Then it will cut to the dad on the bench still, and the kid never comes out of the bottom of the slide. So the dad walks over and goes, "Quit playing in the slide," and looks up into the slide, nobody's in there. And then it fades out with him yelling for the child.
Okay.
And I thought that'd be kind of a creepy
That would be
story to make.
I like it. That's a good one. That I guess they creative juices going. Where do you see that story going?
I thought it would just be a fun little thing to make for maybe a horror anthology, a VHS type of crap.
I love those kind of things. My dream has always been to do a movie called Replay and give the bare bones skeleton of a story to 6 different writers, and they each have to utilize a single line of dialogue so that they all have connective tissue. They all have to use the exact same set, so say a dining room, and then they all have to have a character named Jill and a character named Charlie or something like that, and see what a short film happens with those 6 different writers, because you're going to get potentially
wildly different things, completely different genres sometimes,
and that's always been my dream to do that, and I want it to be called Replay, where when you get to the logical end point of the short, whip back and then just start over again and just keep going.
Yeah, that would be genuinely interesting.
I've always wanted to do that. And then I even wrote what my version of that story was, and mine was a horror film about this man who goes on a blind date, has the person come into his apartment that he is renting and whatnot, and he has devious mind and murders the girl. It's been this big plot the whole time to do a random kind of killing. And then turns out that somebody had been watching the guy the whole time with intent to murder him and breaks in after he has murdered this woman, and this killer is a female, and she called the Kiss of Death killer or something like that. And then she's like, I've been trying to get out of the murder scene. I'm just going to stage this as if it was a murder-suicide. And then she tortures the dude to death until he kills himself and pulls out of the game. And that was my version of that scene. But yeah, so anyway, that would be a fun thing to do. I've always wanted to do like an anthology. I like anthologies.
I do too, because it lets you have just enough story for your, like the movie Smile.
Yeah.
I thought the first little scene before that gets to the haunting of the main character, up till that point was the perfect short film. Like genuinely perfect.
Yeah.
Like it was scary. It was exactly the scary I wanted. It didn't have to devolve into some weird stupid monster at the end. It was like perfect to me. And if that was in like an anthology, genuinely probably would have won awards. Because I thought that was a good creepy little story.
Yeah, I get on board with that.
Even the beginning of The Empty Man.
Yeah,
You know?
that was honestly great. The beginning of the Bye Bye Man. I stand by. That is a really compelling opening scene.
I think, and that's what I think the problem is. I think they think of that at the beginning.
Yeah.
See, that kid is scared of our ideas. They went down that slide.
Yeah.
I think they start with a strong idea like that, and then they have to push it to about 90 minutes, and that's where it falls apart. Which an anthology movie with a subplot like a VHS has. I dislike VHS's like subplot.
VHS doesn't work for me. I didn't like. I saw the first one. I didn't really like it. A lot of it was found footage too, right?
Yes, almost all of it.
And that was, I think, just cheap in general.
Yeah, but the idea behind it is what I like.
I do too. I also like the idea of the ABCs of death, but the movie is terrible.
Right. Because everything has to be 90 minutes.
Yes, I agree. Okay. Another pitch idea. This is one where I'm just spitballing here. I want you to pitch. Disney's sitting on a gold mine.
Yes.
They have the Muppets. The Muppets are great. And they're doing effing nothing with them. Pardon me. It's because I'm talking. They're doing nothing with the Muppets. Muppets worked the best when they took another piece of literature and just revamped it Muppet style. What would you do with the Muppets, where you can cross-blend a Muppet adaptation of Alien or something like that?
So, before you told me what you wanted me to tell you, I thought up an idea.
I can't wait to hear it. I have my own.
Okay. It was an idea and it's not based on a movie.
Okay.
You're like, they're sitting on a gold mine, they're not doing anything with them. I was like, what if these Muppets are like not actually puppets, they're alive.
Yeah.
And they're just going fucking crazy because they're not being utilized, and all they ever want in life is to be shown to kids in a movie. So when they go into like the storage to make their new movie, there's just a bunch of crazy Muppets, and like they're just like trying to kill everybody by teaching them lessons. Like, so like it's like A, and then they'll come up with something that starts with an A and like cut off your arm or whatever, you know, like something like that. Like this horror movie where the Muppets went crazy because they've been locked up for too long without entertaining anybody, and they're kind of like influenced by their surroundings, and so like with being alone, they're getting into their own head because they're supposed to be teaching kids. They're not very intelligent, I would say.
Yeah.
Or they are told what to say because of the script of the movie they're in. They don't have their own thoughts, but now all they do is sit with their own thoughts, and then they go nuts.
Interesting. I like it.
That was my thought.
Have you seen Angel at all? The TV show Angel?
No. Wait, the one with the vampire?
Yeah.
I'm familiar with it.
In the last season, there's an episode called Smile Time,
Okay.
which is a riff on the Muppets. Smile Time is the famous Sesame Street for kids kind of thing. And Angel discovers that they are demonic puppets that are actually alive, and they're sucking the life force out of the kids that are glued to the screen. And they get their revenge on Angel by turning him into a Muppet.
Okay.
And it's the Muppet episode of the show. And it's glorious, but also has some of the most twisted, disturbing imagery I've ever seen, where they're using the writers who are humans. The Muppets will shove their hand up their back and start puppeting them. It's creepy as all hell, but I absolutely love it. It's a great show. My pitch for the Muppets, the use of Muppets, is Disney also has all this R-rated content from Fox that they're not touching. I want to do Muppet Die Hard.
Okay.
And have all of the characters are Muppets, except for Hans Gruber.
Okay, I was just going to say, except for Hans Gruber.
Hans Gruber is the same, but I want, like, John McClane to be played by Grover.
Okay.
And he is the everyman trying to stop the terrorist. I want the Reginald Bell Johnson character to be Miss Piggy. Okay. Because I just want to hear Miss Piggy be like, I killed a kid! And she's the one that's helping him from the outside of the building. And then, like, it's just an escalation of like, terrible law enforcement. Like, that's what happens in Die Hard. I want the two bumbling FBI agents to be the two old men, old guys. And then, because nobody can decide if Die Hard is a Christmas movie or not,
Ebenezer comes in.
I want the Muppets to comment on that, where they're like, wait, I thought this was a Christmas party. And so everything's highly Christmas decoration, and they're like, this isn't a Christmas party, this is a different party. And so then every scene is a different holiday theme. So you have like a Thanksgiving looking set pieces, and I feel like the Muppets can comment on Die Hard in such fun, interesting ways.
The only thing I thought of once you said Hans Gruber has to be human, I also thought the same thing. Hans Gruber should be that eagle man, the blue eagle man.
That's not a bad idea, too.
Because immediately I went, what's like the most Hans Gruber-y Muppet? Him.
That's true. And also, who do you replace Alan Rickman with?
That blue Muppet. That eagle Muppet. The judge.
No live-action person can quite be Hans Gruber.
Can't be.
No.
I know. I couldn't think of anything. Yeah, that'd be fun. The Muppets Die Hard.
Suppose you could have Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill could do like a fun Hans Gruber.
He can do basically
He's amazing.
anything. If I had to remake a movie that's Muppets, maybe it would be fun to do like The Ring.
I love it.
It would be.
This episode is brought to you by the letter O.
Yeah. And then they're like putting on an episode of Sesame Street and taped over by like the Ring tape, and Miss Piggy's the mom, and she's like brushing her hair, and then like one of the Muppets is like the Fly or whatever.
Who's the rock star Muppet that crawls out of the TV
Animal?
with the hair?
Or the one that's
with the long blonde hair.
The guitar player?
Yeah.
I don't know her name,
Yeah.
but she could be the Ring girl. And then, what's the one that says Waka Waka?
Fozzie Bear.
Fozzie's the main character.
Fozzie in my story would have in Die Hard would have been the chief of police.
Yes.
Because they have to be successively worse. Anyway, that's not a bad idea. I would love to watch Muppet Ring.
The Muppet Ring. I like how Kermit's not in any of these.
Well, Kermit's not like really in Muppet Christmas Carol, which I think is the best Muppet thing ever put out. Mm-hmm. And Kermit is my favorite character, but sometimes you just can't work him in.
Yeah. Except for if he's like Emperor Palpatine, like someone. I think that was like somebody made the video on YouTube.
That was good.
But yeah, I could watch the Muppet Ring That'd be fun. I could watch Muppet Die Hard.
Like, Fox has so many good R-rated content. Like Muppet Alien movie would have been fun. Muppet Predator movie would be fun.
You know what? Just a Muppet Treasure... Oh, they do. It's Treasure Island.
Yeah.
Just a Muppet Treasure Planet. That would be amazing. It already exists. Oh, duh. I can't believe I forgot about that.
Yeah. All right. What two properties do you want to see, like, tag team?
To be together in the same universe?
Yes. Because I also have a pitch for this.
Dang, this is a hard question because it could be... Okay, I lied. I want Evil Dead and Marvel so that they can make Marvel zombies.
Yeah, you could do it.
Otherwise, I was going to say like Pacific Rim and
Godzilla?
Live, Die, Repeat.
Oh, that would have been a good one.
Because the aliens, because they only have that one alien at the end.
Yeah.
But if they made it so that they came back and they actually did more things, it'd be interesting to see them have to use their robots to fight the bigger repeat aliens.
That would be cool. I like Live, Die, Repeat or Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay, that's why I couldn't remember the name of it.
Terrible title. Both of them are just awful.
Well, it's based
All
on...
You Need Is Kill is what it was based on. Yeah, which is also a terrible title.
Well, it makes sense in Japanese.
I'm sure it does.
Because all of most of the things, like I was reincarnated as a shoe that turned into a spider.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. They quit making these extremely long titles, Japan.
Yeah.
Then it comes to America and it's like, Shoe Man.
Shoe Man. Don't bother me.
Okay. You went with the totally different direction than I did. Because I said Shoe Man with the intention of saying that he's about to turn into a shoe. But then when I said it to you, Shoe Man, I was like Shoeman, like Shoeman. Like Harold Shoeman.
I'm Harry Schumann.
Yeah.
I would like to see the crossing of the Terminator and the Lord of the Rings. Here's the plot.
Ooh.
The Skynet gets tired of trying to kill John Connor.
So they go back in time.
So they go back as far as they can go to stop the race of man from
We
existing.
got too far. Sauron.
Because I want to see a Hobbit Terminator with like the Arnold body, but also like the curly hair.
The Terminators would destroy everything in the Hobbit world.
Would they though? Like the?
Yes.
I don't know.
The orcs get beat up by other people, just people with swords. The magic is very sporadic.
Yeah, I want to see it. I think.
What would happen
be
if
so
the Terminator got the one ring? Nothing. He'd
I
be able to
mean,
utilize the power without being influenced.
He'd be able to utilize the power to wipe out the race of man, and that's how that was their long con. They win.
So I want to take a pitch that you just said and then change one thing.
Go for it.
Terminator and Transformers.
Okay.
And so Skynet goes back and tries to like unravel the code of the Transformers on Unicron. And then that's the Transformers and the Decepticons have to team up to fight Skynet because they made like these insane Transformer monsters that are destroying all the planets in the galaxy.
Yeah, that would be fun. I still struggle with Transformers. I had no reference for that series.
It's a show about cars that turn into robots.
Yeah.
You don't really need reference.
I guess I don't like cars. That's my only issue.
What about Beast Wars? Do you like Gorilla?
I do. That new Transformer movie I almost watched.
It was good. It was.
I've heard it.
And I would never say a Transformers movie was good.
I liked Bumblebee for what it was, but I tried rewatching Bumblebee in order to watch Beast movie, Rise of the Beasts.
This is a sequel to Bumblebee
Yeah.
in the sense that the other movies don't exist,
Yes.
and that's why it's good.
And I hear, speaking of, it crosses over, spoiler alert for Transformers,
yes.
It crosses over with G.I. Joe.
Yes.
That's kind of cool. I also don't care about G.I. Joe. But,
Yeah, because they're stuck at making movies for them.
yeah.
Another crossover.
Yeah.
That Skynet Transformers hurts me.
It's cool. I would watch and or read that comic book.
It'd be cool if like Venom crossed over with like the Grudge.
That'd be kind of neat.
And then the symbiote combined with the Grudge. What would happen? I just want to know what would happen. Or like,
did you ever read the Batman versus Predator comic?
No.
It's actually good.
Yeah, I have it on my list of things that I won't buy, but want to read.
I own it. I really genuinely like that, and I to this day would love to see that movie. I think it'd be very good.
They have a lot of crossover things that Marvel or DC do that are interesting.
Marvel versus
my favorites.
Wolverine versus Predator is coming out in comic book form, I think, this month.
Okay. Wolverine would destroy the Predator, right?
That's such an unbalanced fight, because as long as Wolverine has a single cell left in his body, he can regenerate.
But so the Predator could have to, like, encase him in adamantite.
The Predator has no shot. Like, Predator versus Batman is an actual fight.
What about Star Wars versus The Lord of the Rings? But the space cannon that destroys the planet can't be used.
I suppose they, like, Luke Skywalker can land on a planet and just be like, what is this place? And,
so just 65.
It's Middle Earth.
Star Wars. 65, but Star Wars, Middle Earth. Like Darth Vader land.
It was 65 any good.
It was just okay.
That's what I heard.
It could have been a little scarier.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if, like, that Darth Vader movie, if it was just Darth Vader crashed on a planet, it was Middle Earth.
Yeah.
And then instead of like the stormtroopers hunting him down, it's just like the wraiths, the big wraiths, because they want his like the Terminator would want his outfit. The Terminator wants everybody.
I want your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
What's the movie about how they the technology wants to like assimilate everything?
The Borg?
Is it the Singularity or whatever?
I don't know.
That stupid Johnny Depp movie?
I never saw it.
Okay. Well, that movie, The Creator, is coming out.
Yes.
And the AI attacked Earth.
Yeah.
And I said to everybody I knew, of course AI is going to attack Earth, because if you make a robot that can attack humans and its goal is to defend humans, its immediate thought will be, humans are bad for themselves, we should eliminate all the humans so that nobody can ever be hurt.
Yeah.
And it will take 3 days for them to make that decision.
It took Ultron like all of 30 seconds to recognize that.
He just looked at the internet for 5 seconds, and he didn't even get to the scary parts.
Yeah. Ultron, a lot of people bash that movie. I like Age of Ultron.
So, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is a bad game.
Yeah.
But the story almost was good.
Okay.
Because it had Marvel and Capcom characters had their universe collide because of the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
And so Ultron merges with Sigma from Mega Man X.
Okay.
And they become Ultron Sigma, which is just essentially the ultimate robot.
Okay.
Because Mega Man is the like most sentient robot, and all robots are based off his design.
Yeah.
So they're taking over the thing, and they can infect people with like a technovirus because of Reploids are basically artificial humans that have cells, so they can infect regular humans that came over. It's super interesting. They botched it, and that could be a cool movie if you wanted to do like a video game adaptation of like a Marvel property.
Yeah.
And they just have to ruin everything. But I thought that would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I have a film pitch from a dream I had one time ago.
Okay.
And we can spitball and make it better, because whatever. Anyway, I dreamt once that we were visiting, me and like a group of my friends, like 20 people, were visiting like this castle in Europe, and it was like in the middle of nowhere. There was a small town, but then like a solar flare happened, and we were in the castle, and just a few of us were in like this room that didn't have like window, just like, you know, like small windows. They didn't have windows back then, so like the light could come in. And the solar flare happened, or whatever, and if the light hit them, it would petrify their body.
Yeah.
So anybody that was outside when the light hit them, they became petrified. But if they were inside and the light hit them, it would petrify the part of their body that was in the sunlight, or and then the rest of them would just go crazy. And so when they left the sunlight, they would thaw out.
Okay.
No, it was the other way around. They would be unable to move unless they were in the sun. So the parts of their body that got hit would just be alive, and the rest of them would just be like frozen if they were in the shade when they got hit. But they were the only ones that could move in the shade and be in the sun at the same time. But if you were all in the sun when they hit you completely, then you were just like only able to move in the sunlight. And it's like a weird zombie vampire movie because they have to like drain your energy out of you.
I dig it. That's good. I would definitely watch that.
Yeah. My only thoughts were, how could we make it be? Because you can't be like, how many people are in this castle? How are you going to get out of the castle? How much of the world is affected by this? The whole world?
Yeah.
How do you end this movie? Is it going to be bleak? Is it going to be they try to leave the town and realize there's nothing really you can do? The whole place sucks? Is it Resident Evil 3?
Yeah. You do kind of paint yourself into a hole.
Yeah. It had to be, well, I mean, 28 weeks later or whatever, days later, that's the whole world, right?
Yeah.
And that movie's about him going through the city. In the first one, he wakes up.
Yeah, the first one's the city.
Because there would be survivors. Because once the flare happened, and then once it ended, you didn't get turned if you went into the sun.
Yeah.
It's just that you were incredibly vulnerable to attack, so people could only go out at night, except for the people that were only partially mutated and were crazy, so that they're just crawling around with their one arm, or whatever. I don't know, it'd be fun.
It's a good one.
It'd
I
be
like
interesting to try to figure that out into something.
That would be. That's good. You should write it.
I was planning on it, my friend who sadly passed, but
Oh, a sad day.
definitely a sad day, Matt. But yeah, I don't know. That was the only other pitch I could think of that I was like, this could genuinely be something.
How would you do a superhero movie? Would you, like, you can take like Marvel or DC or Image if you want to go Image.
Honestly, I can't even think of a superhero movie I would want to make at this point.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure. If it was standalone, maybe.
Yeah, I would go standalone.
I definitely wouldn't want to do like a pure origin, right? I would want to do like they've been established enough, but I can't even think of a hero that I would want to see on the screen right now just because I'm just so tired.
Yeah, I get that.
A lot of these movies, even when they introduce somebody interesting, and then when I think of superheroes, I think of Fast and Furious, and now the 10th one just ruined my life. I don't know. I don't have a pitch. Give me what you got.
I haven't seen Fast and Furious since the 7th one, and I feel like I hopped off at a good time.
No, you should have hopped off at 9. Because that's what the last good one was.
I thought you didn't like the 9th one.
They only get better once 10 came out.
I mean, fair enough. That's a way to look at it. I would do Superman. I think the Superman hasn't been done correctly since 1978.
That's true.
The way I would do it is, I would take as like the structure. I feel like you could do an almost anthology where he's just telling his stories. Maybe you could have him having a conversation with Lois Lane about, like she's interviewing him for the not Daily Prophet, that's Harry Potter.
Oh my god. Everything's Harry Potter.
The Daily Planet.
I was in the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
That's Spiderman.
That's Spiderman. Harry Spiderman. And then you could just have him tell like these little micro shorts, and that way you can kind of get
Like his
sort
costume.
of
like Robin's costume. Micro shorts.
micro shorts. You could do it that way. I would go bleaker, and I think I would tell, and in no way would this get greenlit, but have like this Make-A-Wish kid want to spend the day with Superman. So Superman goes and he's like, just tell me stories. First the kid's like, can you cure me? And he like X-rays the kid and he's
Gives
like,
him more
no.
cancer.
He just like laser eyes him away. But like just sits there and tells him stories, and like he's like, this one hasn't been covered, and then tells him like this battle he had with Metallo, and that way you could have like little beats that are action beats and little beats that are more like him saving the kitten in the tree kind of thing, and then just kind of ping pong around, and then have it end with
The
him
kid dying.
Well, he's trying to like equip the kid with knowledge of what to do better and whatnot. Like he is the man of tomorrow kind of thing. So he tells, he ends with a story about how Clark Kent's dad died of a heart attack or whatever, and that's where he learned that you can't save everybody, stuff like that. Some people are meant to go when they go and whatnot, and then the kid can be like, I thought all these stories had Superman, and that's how he learned that Superman is Clark Kent. Superman is fine letting this kid know that.
He's gonna die.
But then
The secret can be safe.
have that kid then pay that forward by going to like another kid at the hospital or something like that, and just talking to this kid, trying to cheer this other kid up and something. I think you'd get into the core of the virtue of goodness that is Superman, and not the moral complexity of Zack Snyder of like, just because I can save people, why should I? Like, that's not Superman, fuck you.
That story that you just said is essentially almost a comic of Spider-Man.
I know that, and when I read that comic book story, it broke my fucking heart. I had had that story in my mind for so many years, and it breaks my heart that Spider-Man did a similar story.
But just because it's similar doesn't mean it can be used again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought about that because they made that guy made that Spider-Man movie.
That Lotus one, I reviewed it for my channel.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
And
I watched half of that movie without knowing that guy was a horrible racist, and then I
think a lot of
discovered
people
it.
didn't notice that until it was too late.
Yeah.
And then he was bad at making a movie too.
The thing is it's like, it's not bad. Like, as a director, it's a pretty good showcase of ability as a director. And he's not going to get any writing offers. And the performances are not spectacular. He doesn't know how to write women.
Or superior?
Or web of. But that's good. But like, a lot of people were completely bashing that guy and just like attacking him for his racist tweets and stuff like that, as they probably should. But I don't think that's particularly helpful in that case, because you're not gonna, if somebody's just bashing you and you're that guy being bashed, you're not gonna shift your mindset, right? I think that's a terrible way to establish criticism. So for my review, I was like, I'm going to speak to this filmmaker in a way that he might connect with. He's clearly a fan of Spider-Man, therefore he's probably a fan of Stan Lee. So I read out loud at the end of my review Stan Lee's quote condemning racism and prejudice as a whole. And it's a well-structured argument that Stan Lee kind of posits about how racism and prejudice just genuinely doesn't make sense on a logical level.
Right.
And so I was like, I know that this filmmaker, he says that he seeks out reviews of his work because he genuinely wants to know, and take valued criticism. I was like, I feel like this is the way to do it. So if you're the director listening, this is my way. However, I also do condemn the racism and think you should, like...
Right. Nobody ever listens when they're getting yelled at for their opinion. And then yelled at in a way that just makes you mad.
Yeah, exactly.
But the internet is just full of garbage, so...
Yeah. It's not constructive. It makes sense that your want is to just annihilate that person.
Yeah.
I get it. But at the same time, it's not particularly helpful. So anyway, that was a side tangent about Spider-Man Lotus. Do you have any other fun pitches?
No, not even Couldn't even think of a superhero one during that whole time.
Yeah, I get that. It's hard to
Maybe a
make
Planet
something
Hulk.
fresh.
I just want a real Planet Hulk movie.
That'd be kind of cool.
Not even change it, just make it exactly what this comic is. Just make the comic book.
I don't know why they haven't done that, especially like DC with their Elseworlds. Like,
Because they don't like making the comic book, they like making their own version.
yeah, I get it. That way you don't have to pay the original writers what it comes down
in the
to.
first place.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, I don't know why they don't do like a Superman Red Son or something like that, where it's a good book in the idea that it's an Elseworlds. Why not just put that out there, like a good Elseworlds story of that?
So we'll see what happens with James Gunn.
I know, I have faith. I hope it's not misguided.
He hasn't really let me down.
Yeah, me neither, honestly.
You watch Blue Beetle?
Not yet. I will. I hear
It's
it's
okay.
good. Yeah.
It definitely
It's very generic, is what I hear, but
kind of,
very
it's
good.
also sad that nobody went to it.
Yeah.
Because it's not any worse than, like a first Ant-Man movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a sad day when this stuff happens.
Yeah. I get that.
I don't know. All I want you to do is make that slide thing and then make your video.
I'll see what I can do.
Like, there's no slides here that are enclosed.
There is a tube, though, like a little tunnel tube. So I can,
it's creepier.
yeah. I can call it tunnels.
Tunnels. And then you don't have to give me any writing credit. my completely new idea. I did have a complete rewrite pitch for As Above, So Below.
Okay.
Did you see that movie?
No. You can spoil the fuck out of it. I don't
Okay.
care.
As Above, So Below is they go into like the French catacombs and they have, I don't know why or how they get into this place, but it's like they crawl into it and the further they crawl down and then it flips over and then they're back up.
Yeah.
Okay? And they're going deeper and deeper and deeper. And it slowly is like, it's like found footage. And it's slowly, like there's a cult down there and it slowly gets more and more like fun memories or horror memories. And then they crawl out of the sewer at the end. They're going down, but somehow they end up right side up in the road. And I'm like, this movie would have been 20 million times better as if they went immediately to the end, went back home, and then saw that they were in like this weird reverse world where like everything is wrong, like evil almost, like things just aren't right. They go back into the manhole and crawl back through, and then all the horror stuff happens. Because then you're like, oh, like we're crawling out of hell basically back to what, a normal plane.
Yeah.
But instead it just ends ambiguously as like if this is the real world or not. That movie failed me on that front because I was like, I don't really care what's happening because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I get that. That's the problem with a lot of horror movies is they have an idea, but it's a bad execution of that idea.
Yeah.
Which is sad because horror is my favorite genre.
But why would you show that they went back to the real world at the end and then just not have it be anything?
Yeah.
Like, it's not creepy that they crawled down and then ended upside up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not
Yeah.
creepy. It'd be creepy if like they went there and all the people's faces were like upside down or something. And they didn't notice until they got home. Like, you know what I mean? Something different would be
They have
good.
face blindness, so they
Yeah.
couldn't tell.
Couldn't tell, but their friend noticed. Your face looks weird, they said to her. And then she's like, my face looks normal. Your face looks weird. And then they crawl down the hole. I don't know, man. Anything that was different would be different.
I get that.
Drag Me to Hell. That's a Sam Raimi?
Yeah, I like that movie.
I hate my boy in it. That guy I hate.
Justin Long.
I hate Justin Long.
I love Justin Long. That movie, that man is perfect. You still haven't watched Tusk.
I don't like Justin Long. I can't watch a whole movie with him in it. That Barbarian movie was too much.
Oh, Barbarian is good too.
Not with Justin Long. My man hurts.
Galaxy Quest?
I don't like him. What's he in the Galaxy Quest?
He's the nerd.
Does he die?
No.
Okay, maybe that's the only one I just don't remember him in. He's
Justin,
outshone by all these other people.
I guess. Justin
Alan
Long
Rickman?
is one of my favorite actors. He's absolutely fantastic in Tusk.
The reason I hate him is because,
You're meant to hate him in Tusk.
oh, even worse for me then. Oh man, I hated him in Jeepers Creepers, and then I just never liked him ever since.
I didn't like his haircut in Jeepers Creepers, and so I thought I didn't like him for a little while after I saw that. But then he was in everything else, and I've loved him.
So if we're changing something, I'm changing the ending of Drag Me to Hell.
Okay.
He should have got drugged to hell like it was supposed to be, and not the girl.
I get that. She's awesome. That would be a fun crossover, is Drag Me to Hell and Evil Dead.
All the Evil Dead movies crossing over to themselves to a
Cool.
grand finale would be good.
I'm curious to see what happens with the next Evil Dead Rise.
Yes.
Evil Dead Below. I don't know what they're calling it.
As above. The new Evil Dead, that was good.
It was great.
I like that they established that there's 3 different books.
Yeah.
They established it in the past,
Yeah.
but they established that each book that we've seen is a different book.
Yeah.
So the one from 2013 is not the same book that Ash has. It's
Yeah.
vice versa. And then knowing that they all have deadites in them, but they're slightly different, you got a spider on you. Don't blow it on me. Now it's on me.
It's under you.
As above, so below. I don't know. It'd be very cool to have the people from the 2013 one come
Yeah.
into the new one.
I would like that as well. Jane Levy was so good in that movie, so.
It would be. I don't want like an origin story where
No,
where the books come from. We already got one.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting for them to try to like go. They are still being haunted technically, so they want to go and try to find where to stop it, and end up at like some Aztec temple or whatever. I don't remember. Condorian.
Yeah, I can't.
And then they just end up making more of a problem for themselves. That'd be kind of cool to me, like going to like the home turf, but not
Yeah.
exploring the past.
Yeah.
Just accidentally uncovering more things that are bad.
That would be cool. I am curious to see where the lore goes from here.
Yeah, I have faith.
I did too.
Is Sam Raimi supposed to direct Secret Wars?
He's rumored right now. I have faith in that as well. I really like Doctor Strange.
I also liked it. I thought that was the best, second best new Marvel movie.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but it was up there.
What
It was
would you
great.
say is the second best?
So No Way Home I thought was the best of the Phase 4.
I agree.
I go Eternals and Shang-Chi,
Oh, okay.
and then I'd put then Black Widow, and then Doctor Strange.
So you liked it, but it was your least favorite one.
No,
Above Black Panther, apparently.
it was above Black Panther, Thor, not Aquaman, but
Aquaman.
Ant-Man.
Oh, you mean Namor?
Ant-Man. It was better than all the TV shows, except for WandaVision. WandaVision's the actual best thing post-Endgame.
I lied. Galaxy Quest 3
Oh, Guardians 3 is
is the best one. Maybe tied for me with Spiderman. Just because the story was upsetting.
Yes, I agree.
Let's make a pitch. Pitch that they only make good movies from now on.
Yeah, I hope so.
Here's my real pitch, though. They should start making B movies again that are just made to make some money, but not all the money.
Make movies that don't gear into a sequel.
Yeah.
I think Lights Out is a good example of this. It's a self-contained horror movie that you're expecting at the end the tease for what the sequel is going to be, somehow a kind of horror cliffhanger, and it just never comes. And then the credits hit, and I was so overwashed with joy that it didn't lead into something.
They're not like, the game is afoot.
Yeah.
I'm Dracula and the game is afoot. Like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
You're never getting a sequel to Dracula.
Yes.
Yeah, because you got movies, all these movies, all the ones that I have said I've liked recently have had a hard ending.
Yeah.
Empty Man ends.
Yeah.
They just end. They're done.
Yeah.
And if they want to make a sequel, they can. But
Yeah.
it just ends.
I agree. I think the horror genre sucks for that reason. Is like Nightmare on Elm Street is one of the best horror movies with the worst last 30 seconds.
It's always like,
well, it has an ending. Nancy leaves. She says bye to her mom. gets in the car. That's where the script ended. And Wes Craven walked off. He refused to shoot the ending, which was that the mom gets pulled through the window and Freddy's truly alive.
Yeah.
Because what if they made a sequel, and they sure as shit did. But
they could have just made a sequel.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't need the tease. It can be self-contained, and if you get a second one, then you get a second one. Good job, good on you.
Yeah. You have to earn the right for a sequel.
Like the Scream movies. I think the Scream movies, like, they all end. It's not like, what's Ghostface gonna be up to next time?
Probably the same thing as in every movie.
Yeah, but like, Scream ended, and the fact that we got Scream 2 was kind of cool. And Scream 2 ends, and if that had been the ending, it had been the ending.
And then you have a legacy of you ended on a good note with the one that was really good, and you make a sequel that sucks, people can just be like, well, the sequel was just added on. It wasn't necessarily meant to be made. And then people just forgive your first... Fast and Furious 10 is a pure example for me because I don't like that movie. It actively made the other ones worse in my mind.
Okay.
And because of the way that they structured it and how it happened. And a lot of these movies, we watch the sequel, and because the first one ends in a way that the sequel has to exist, and then the sequel's hot garbage or does something really dumb, it retroactively ruins the first movie because now you know something that you could have just been like, well, this didn't really happen, this isn't canon, or you just don't have to believe it, or whatever. But when it's forced into it, you have to take it all in.
Yeah, when you have to acknowledge its existence, it sucks.
Yeah.
I keep going back to the Scream movies because it's kind of nice that, like, you don't have to, like, if say you just like the first two, you don't have to accept any of the ones afterwards. Mm-hmm. Say you liked all 5 of the first ones, but you didn't like number 6, you don't have to accept number 6. You can just be, the story's over.
And they used to do that all the time. Like Alien didn't have like here's a sequel. And even if it did, it didn't matter.
Yeah. Like Alien has a self-contained ending. Aliens has a self-contained ending. Alien 3 has a very definitive ending.
And we're not saying an ambiguous ending is bad. No. Like the end of The Thing.
Yeah, or even the first, like, It Chapter 1.
Yeah.
Like, you know that the monster comes back every 27 years. They've already established that in the story, and you know that it's coming back later.
Yeah.
But it ran away into the sewer, and that was the end, and it worked.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a bad example because that's a 2-part movie.
It is a 2-part movie with a tease that there is a second one, but it also didn't really tease it. It just said
it's a 2-part movie that was always intended to be a 2-part movie from the beginning.
Yeah.
That didn't need a second part, but benefits from it.
Yeah.
Or, some people don't like the second half.
I love the second half. Those people are wrong.
But that's not the same thing. Like Harry Potter 1 and 2, or 7 Part 1 and 2, are a split movie.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a sequel to a movie.
Yeah.
All we're saying is just write something you're confident in, just finish it. Don't make The Mummy and then have all this stupid Avengers crap in it. You don't need to make all the money in the world. Just make something that can make you money to keep making more things and pay the bills.
Not to keep harping on how much Zack Snyder sucks, but you don't need the scene where Lex Luthor has email files about all of the Justice League, so that it makes Justice League more palatable when these characters show up, and you're like, oh, now I know who Aquaman is. Oh. Thank God I had that scene of murky water.
I thought this was that mermaid scene in Zoolander. But now I know.
Like, it's lazy shorthand of just shoehorning characters in so that we're visually comfortable when Jason Momoa shows up. But if your movie is not confident enough to be able to introduce Jason Momoa as Aquaman, then maybe you should be not telling this story.
Or, just show Aquaman jumping out of the water with a trident, the gum, and hitting somebody with and be like, who's that mysterious aquatic fella? Probably not Aquaman. Could have been in Black Ray or whatever his name is.
In the kitchen sink version of Justice League, that's 4 hours long, why did they not shoehorn water into the final fight. Like, why is Aquaman in that movie? He has no presence. Like, I mean, he has gravitas because he's played by Jason Momoa, but they wrote a 900-page script so that they could have this 4-hour movie. Why not just shoehorn that the fight happens by the lake so that it makes sense to bring Aquaman along?
Because that didn't fit into what the ending was supposed to be. But also, Aquaman's in it because of studio interference, almost for sure. They wanted to make an Aquaman movie, but he had to be in a Justice League movie.
It's when you're writing it, though, that just justify him being there. Like, you could even have him ride the rain. I don't care. She's lassoing.
Honestly, in the Justice League movie, why are any of those people there? Superman could be a model by himself.
Which they show you at the end of the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, which I thought was the superior version.
I didn't. That's its own can of worms.
If you get rid of the last 30 minutes of the Snyder Cut, I do think it's better.
Here's the thing. I don't think it's better. I think it's more coherent because you don't have
this insane, stupid thing that doesn't matter?
Well, you don't have a 2-hour movie cut from a 3.5-hour movie.
Right.
So obviously it's going to make more sense if you.
The last half hour of the Snyder Cut is the future scene of a potential future.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
But if
you want our opinions on the Snyder Cut, you can listen to it on my channel.
Yes, you certainly can. It'd be like picking up the first Harry Potter book, but only reading the even pages.
Right.
It's going to make way more sense when you start reading the odd pages, but it's not going to change the overall. It's only better in comparison because it's fully realized. Bad is still bad.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I land.
And that's why
not that the first Harry Potter book is bad.
That's why my theory that the reason he shot it in 4:3
is
right. Because he didn't want people splicing the two movies together.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because there's definite improvements over the Snyder version in the theatrical cut of the movie. I think the Save One scene is probably one of the strongest ones.
Right.
But you can't cut them together.
Not with that.
Anyway, we stopped pitching movies a while back and started bitching about movies.
Yeah, I don't got anything else, I don't think.
Either do I. If you have any movie pitches, feel free to drop them in the comments below or extrapolate on what you liked that we pitched. What do you want to see? Would you watch any of our film pitches? And would you like to see more film pitches from me, my guest, or future guests on this channel? Thanks for watching. Listen to his podcast, Burn It Down and Leave. Description box below will have links to that, including our Justice League takedown and or praise.
We did both of them, right?
What?
Did we do both versions or just the Snyder Cut?
Just the Snyder
okay.
Cut. I'm going to be reviewing that movie in the offing soon, so you'll hear my in-depth thoughts on both cuts of that movie. But anyway, thanks for watching, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and peace.
Bye.